Hello, this is Sunshine Zook, and today I'm talking about a social welfare policy that I feel needs definite reform. Um, the healthcare policy is something that I definitely think is in dire need of some reform. I think there was a lot of optimism with the beginning of the Obama administration and the so-called Obamacare, or what is now the Affordable Care Act. However, I think that we can all agree that it was not what our country needed or what we were hoping for, or what most people were hoping for. It's extremely confusing, extremely difficult to navigate the website, very difficult to understand what coverage you're receiving, what your costs are, what your payments will be, what doctors you're able to see. There's just no easy way to get clear-cut information as to what your plans are and what plan may work best for you. And this isn't just through the Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act website, but in general, looking at healthcare, it's very hard to for especially any layperson to be able to understand. I think that's a huge problem with the Medicare. Obviously anyone receiving Medicare is either elderly or disabled and is therefore probably receiving assistance for that reason, and so does not have a lot of extra income, and it's becoming very difficult for them to sometimes be able to maintain a supply of life-saving medications. And again, these are elderly and disabled people, so they're obviously going to have, for the most part, especially disabled, would have a lot of medications, medical care that needs to happen, medical attention, and through the current system, there's a big problem being able to receive that care. Again, with the Affordable Care Act website, there are navigators put into place, and sometimes speaking to a navigator, they're still unable to really answer your questions or to know the ins and outs of the system. To call a healthcare company, whether it's UPMC or Highmark or Aetna, it's still difficult to get a clear-cut answer as to what your benefits might be, or what your options are. And with healthcare being a for-profit, it just adds into a lot of extra difficulties, where proper healthcare is really a very basic need. We're not talking elective surgeries or cosmetic, elective cosmetic surgeries, or things that aren't very basic. I mean, we're talking about, basic checkups at the doctor. If an emergency arrives, being able to go to the emergency room. Now it's, can I go to MedExpress? Can I go to the emergency room? What are my costs going to be? It's very hard to navigate through those questions. Being able to receive medications that you need, day in and day out, just to survive. So again, that's a very basic need, and people are going into poverty situations because of basic medical bills. There's tax implications that have been put into place if you do not maintain health care coverage. However, for most people, the cost of health care for just a few months out of the year will not exceed will exceed the tax implications. So it's still a much better option to forego the health insurance and take the tax hit at the end of the year than to attempt to, when you're already living paycheck to paycheck, to attempt to find an extra couple of $100s per month to maintain the health care coverage, which again, then, people are foregoing basic health care, regular checkups, maintenance, medications, which only lead to larger and larger problems and larger bills. So, in my opinion, that is the, biggest issue right now of something that needs very serious reform.